David Shaw.
My guy.
Get It Honest. It's the title track for the new record, Get It Honest.
Yep.
Why now? Why honesty now? And was it not honest before?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that, the honest truth is that song came to me, in a dream and then just woke me up out of the dream. And maybe it was something that was, trying to get to me, before, but for whatever reason, the state that I was in, I think at that time after, having a daughter, going through all the stages of life that, I've gone through with my, my family, my wife, we've gone through. I'm not sure like it had a chance to like poke through
And manifest.
And I'm glad it did.
Obviously it needed to at a certain point when it was time to bubble over and explode.
Exactly. It's kind of crazy how it came.
Yeah, take us back. You're saying it was at a certain point of your life where it felt like it needed to come out. But put us in that point of your life where you were in the mindset, and why do you think that particular song and that mantra was the one that was speaking to you? Enough to wake you up in the middle of the night. You're like, oh shit, like I need to put this down. Because how often I feel like that happens sometimes based on just because like, it happened with Keith Richards with Satisfaction. So you got to wake up and put shit down. But then sometimes you're like, oh no, this really needs to go down. This is actually going to be meaningful.
The thing that's coming to mind right now, and this honestly changes from day to day, but one of the truths I think is that I needed to make space. I needed to make space in my head.
It's tough.
It's like when you got all these external things happening, and then also your head is busy and filled up with, things that you should have said or things that you didn't say, or things that you just needed to handle but shelved. I think this song kind of came in at a time, a bit of a potentially a weak time, I think, for me. I have some addiction issues, as you know. I think it came at a time when I was basically just like, all right, like you really gotta like hit this on the head here. You gotta reckon with this a little more than you have in the past. And I've been doing great, you know what I'm saying? But like, now I've got a daughter. We've got things to think about. It was like this song has come to like be like, okay, let's get this even more out in the open.
You start thinking about not just legacy, but you're going to have to explain these things to a different kind of person.
Yeah. And
it's difficult doing it when they're younger and older for them to understand what's going on, but you want to be truthful to yourself.
100%.
And because if you're not, then what's the point of the message anyways? But it's raw. And it's, as someone who's going through sobriety, it's almost like you're feeling those feelings again. Yeah. They come up because there's nothing there to hide it or mask it anymore.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're on that journey as well. It's just interesting, man. It's like, I feel like songs, for me anyways, songs have been, for lack of a better term, this is probably the perfect term, like saviors.
Yeah, they're cathartic.
Come at the right time and just helped me process something that might have been stuck, or a situation in my life. Like Soul Fight, for instance, came at a time when, I was heavy into my addiction era, and also my parents were splitting up, and
so life events,
real life events.
And you were 22 at the time, and you're still a kid.
Exactly.
Frontal cortex not fully formed, and like you think you're an adult at 22, but you're really not. No. Like the 40-year-old of yourself can look back on 22 and say, "Yeah, of course you're doing that. You were hurting. Yeah. Everybody's hurting."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was self-medicating.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
pretty fun sometimes too.
I would be the life of the party for 4 days, and then no one would see me for a week.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I'm similar to that, where on the outside, especially during your days of partying and you're self-medicating, you can prolong for so long because you're not a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? 100%. You are the life of the party.
Exactly.
And the people that immediately piss people off and, go to jail or whatever, they it
a
ends
different
sooner.
path.
But it also ends sooner for them.
Yeah.
Where you can kind of coast forever. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty good at this.
I'm good at
but
this.
it's worse in the long.
good at this.
It's worse in the long run. Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Woo.
But yeah.
That's fun.
Anyways, but get it honest. I'm
Get it
so
honest.
bored of being sober.
Yeah.
Did you hear that line in the dream? Or are you envisioning like yourself kind of third person omniscient in the dream where you know that this is
Weird,
happening?
man. Yeah. I honestly like all I have, like the only, I will often, well, there was a period, I will say, where I was waking up in the middle of the night often. And thankfully, it's not happening too much anymore, or right now, I should say. But I think this was definitely during that period. And I don't know whether it was like the words kind of came and just like woke me up, or if like I had been up and then just like, you're kind of laying there and then they came. It's like, cause like that twilight state of just like laying in bed, like kind of up, kind of not, like it's also a really special state. I feel like to write songs.
It's a flow state.
Yeah. It's really kind of like I was totally out of my own way. The judgy part of my brain was just off, thankfully. And, I was just like, okay, like, man, like I'm, like what, I was kind of just like in a place of like, if this is where I'm at and this is where I'm feeling, like I'm bored. I'm so bored of being sober. Like there's got to be something after that. I can't just like stop at this feeling. I've got to like get past that. So like, let's reckon with that feeling.
Especially if you come out the gates with something like that.
Yeah. Like let's,
Well, yeah. There needs to be a redemption arc in a song like that if you're getting it honest.
Yeah.
Because you're on the other side of the line, so to speak.
Exactly. And then so there's Sam the other day asked me, she was like, what does the last line of the song mean? And it's the stranger in me is you. Mm-hmm. And I'm a little reluctant to say this, but I feel like it kind of potentially needs a little explanation. And the thought there was that I think everyone has a shadow side, that
of course
they reckon with. It's like
it's the things you think but you don't do.
Yeah, exactly. So,
it's human.
That's to me, that's the stranger in me, and it's not necessarily, it's not me. It's a part of me. It's a part that I, have ran from many times. I'm just like that. This person scares me. I've let this person run my life for certain amounts of time, and it's never done me good, ever, like literally ever. But I'm just acknowledging basically that's like, we all have this. We all have to reckon with this. We all have to deal with this. I'm right here with you, doing the same thing. So
I think you nailed that when you said it's a part of me. It is not me.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is a big issue with getting honest.
Yeah.
Is coming to grips in that it's okay that this exists. It makes you human, but how you react and how you approach your life differently is what allows you to grow and move forward. You talked about judgy, the concept of your brain being judgy when you're writing or you're doing something creative. On this record, what song do you feel like your brain was the most judgy? In a good or bad way? Whether it's, I think this one's going to be really good, or like, I don't think this is good, but then I show everybody and they dig it.
Yeah, okay.
Just like a different kind of headspace.
Yeah. Let's think about that.
Because I'm interested to hear from this perspective as well.
Let me think. Okay. I think that so Lost and Found.
Let's talk about Lost and Found.
That one was, when me and Chris were writing it, I at a certain point, I think we both realized we had a really special song, and that's when
and that doesn't happen all the time.
Exactly.
You've done it enough where you can be like, no one's excited at least, and you have to be excited.
Like, you finish the song, and then it's like maybe it'll see the light of day, or something, or whatever.
Had legs, as we like to say.
Yeah, this one we realized 3/4 of the way, and you have some lines that you come up with, and are just like, okay, yeah, that's fire.
It's flowing
that's
easily.
Fire.
Yeah,
It was flowing pretty easily, but I feel like that's when like that judgy part can really kind of.
It's when you think about what the suits say.
Like, oh,
no,
not necessarily what the suits say. Really, it's just more like
this feels good.
I don't want to fuck this up.
Yeah.
We got something really great, and
let's make sure the dismount
we're
is
just
good.
right there. Like, let's just
can't half-ass
take it to the finish line, but like it's gotta feel like 75% of it does. Like if we're 100 about all of this next 25 has got to be there.
It's where the real work is done.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think Lost and Found, a lot of people I've shown that it seems to be a healing song. My sober bros, I would say that's the one that they're really connecting with.
Nice.
Because it sounds like this is me.
I mean, yeah. It's a special song, and it came from a real place, a very real place. I mean, me and Chris, have had certain those kind of journeys. And I told this story the other night in Opry, and I think at the Opry, I think a lot of my songs, I don't necessarily know where they come from when I'm writing them, or like sometimes you do, sometimes you have an idea, and sometimes you're like, okay, this is what I want to write about. For instance, Get It Honest, that kind of that just, I was like, okay, I know what I'm writing about here. That one was a little more ambiguous for a little bit of a time, but I realized that I think that that was a part of Sam and I's story. That song.
Got it.
Like 100%. There was a time in our relationship where we both followed each other down into a place where it was really fun, but maybe not the best for either of us.
I feel like that happens a lot,
Yeah. But it was, our relationship was strong, and we weren't going to give up on either. Nobody was going to give up, because we knew that we had something real and special, So that I know that I just, that's one of those things where it's like, I don't necessarily know when a song is going to raise its hand like that, or an idea, it'll just kind of come out of the blue. And I was just driving in my car, and I was like, that's where that song came from.
So you have Lost and Found, which is kind of this introspective thing with relatability through your life and life experience, and then Get It Honest, where it's just like, oh shit, I wake up and it comes out.
Yeah.
What about, you have anything character driven on the record that you would say where you're filling that storyteller role, where it's like, this isn't necessarily me, but I have this idea that I'm putting out, I'm painting this picture.
Yeah. Let me just think. Blood on the River has a bit of that. I wouldn't necessarily, it's not like a very like narrative type song, but I think I'm just like dipping into like things I've read, things I've felt, poems I've come across. But yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting question, because
I have a follow-up question after.
Yeah. What you got?
I was gonna say, your delivery on that is not quintessential what you would define as your sound. Yeah. And you think it being a character-driven song, that's part of the reason why. Like, did you have a moment saying, oh, maybe I should try this in like a different head voice, falsetto, or you just knew this is the voice I wanted to come?
It's
almost as if it was like an exercise, like I could have given this song to somebody else if I wanted to, and this is me not putting my stamp on it so somebody can hear it and say, oh, I might like to use that.
That's
the writing for you.
It's interesting because I tried it in different keys. As we'll often do.
Of course, yeah.
Things up with the band.
Yeah.
It's like
live in studio, or
it's just a little different, and it lost the higher up in the voice register that it went, like the less story I got from like the character that was kind of giving
Yeah.
that. You know, it was
I
like,
can't envision it. I honestly, I can hear what it would sound like higher up, but it doesn't sound like the song to me.
Yeah, exactly. It just kind of like I lost there was like this ethereal, mysterious, kind of dreamy, you know,
It's more like organic.
sensation that would come
Yeah.
up. Yeah. And then also I was kind of like surprised that I, you know, like I could kind of utilize
little
that
lower,
side of my
little-
voice,
yeah.
you know. I was like, all right, I'm into this, you know, like, cool.
And it feels good when a producer is like, we're definitely going to record that song.
Yeah.
When you're doing it that way too.
Yeah.
Where you could have been like, hey, I like this song, but sing it the way I know how you sing.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you have done that hypothetically if Rich Costin said?
I think we would have tried it.
Yeah, you're
You know,
very.
I'm down to try whatever.
You're very open to exploring and trying stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, let me one more hypothetical. Say you were doing it in like a normal higher register voice, and what if Rich came in and said, "I want you to try it with this low voice"? Do you think you would have been like?
That I think
You
that
know,
would
like
have been
the
harder
flip.
to go the other
Yeah.
way.
I know, just knowing us, guys would have immediately been like, "No." Like
What
they
is
would
happening?
even
Yeah.
if it was the song now, they'd be like, "No,
No,
we're not doing
We're not doing that.
Yeah,
Like, that's not him. Yeah. That's it's interesting because I will say the song has to be, or the melody has to be. I mean, thankfully, I kind of like wrote the melody in that low voice.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it would be hard for me to take a melody that I wrote, you know, in more of like a singable range, and then bring it down because I would have trouble pitching.
Yeah, it's just technically it's a
be
different
hard.
approach. Yeah.
I think it would be hard.
Which I don't think people realize too. It's in my opinion, it's much easier to sing higher up and kind of belt than a lower,
100%.
more
Gotta have
droning.
much more finesse and control. A fact is, many people don't realize how incredible Frank Sinatra's pitch was.
Interesting.
Singing at that
Okay.
low level, but his pitch was like impeccable, and it is hard to do. It is hard to
it's
do.
one of
It's
the
hard
goats,
to be
you
on
know?
pitch down there, because like it's just like you're not pushing as much air, so you don't have the stability of the chords. It's
The error
The-
is
the error-
massive.
the-
Yeah,
exactly.
you're walking a tightrope on the
walking-
vocal
yeah.
cord.
exactly.
I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So, Blood on the River, you have this characterization of, you know, it's not necessarily David Shaw talking, it's his character. I think in terms of sonically, it's one of the more exploratory songs on the record. In terms of, we were fortunate what Rich Costi was able to bring to the table and do that.
Yep.
Is there a track that you think he really put his producer touch on that really changed the song, that made you really more excited about the way that it was either demoed or we had recorded it? And to let people know, we shedded these songs more so than any other time. We had basically had a few weeks in the studio of us fleshing 30 songs out or whatever it was, and then we went to Vermont for a couple weeks before we actually recorded.
Yep.
And we thought at that time, usually we know what it's going to sound like on the record, but Rich is known to throw curveballs.
He is.
So what would you say was one?
That's a good. Okay, let me think about this. I mean, I will say. So Rich is just a master in choosing the sounds and the tones for certain things.
Of course, yeah.
And so that's really the place where I think he really
Shines. Yeah.
And
World
one
class.
of the reasons why we chose him, I think, is because we wanted a producer that didn't sound like them. We wanted a producer that would make us sound more like us.
Exactly.
And so he did that. And I think one of the things, I mean, it's all over the album, but I would say the drum tone and what PJ did on Heartstop is
That's fantastic.
totally fire. Because I thought the demo was good, and then we made the record, and I was like, oh wow,
Yeah,
like,
you realize
and
there's
then Zach's
levels to
guitar
it.
tone,
There's levels to
on that.
it where you realize people spend their crafts within crafts within crafts, and when you're in the process of it, you realize. But it's like everything else. It's reps, it's patience, it's experience.
Yep.
Where you say that drum tone is killer, but we would have been like, let's just put it on everything else.
Yeah, I
and
know,
he's like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no, no, like that's just for that.
That's just for that.
Where when we hear something we like, we just like smear it everywhere. We
Yeah.
want it, yeah. But yeah, it's.
Well, there was the shit stack that we put.
Let's talk about Ed's shit stack for a minute. Yeah. So, okay. Little preface, little statement here. Towards the end of the session, you get a lot of the beds of the record done. Yeah. So, what happens is there tends to be lots of downtime because everybody has downtime because people are individually going in there and doing stuff, or you're overdubbing or whatever. And we were fortunate enough to have John Maria Conte, our front of house engineer, was there to kind of, oversee an adult, I would say, a lot of the audio side.
Yep.
And they just started putting a bunch of random effects through like Moogs and Fairchild preamps and everything. And they developed what we called the shit stack, which it just looked like an 80s like AV cart with like 6 or 7 different tonal possibilities that they were just fucking around with.
Yeah.
And then when Rich likes something, he's like, we're going to go over, you just did all the record. You need to go back and do it all over on that.
Yeah, we're going to run, we're going to run the drums through this thing. We're going to run
like a mad scientist.
The guitar tone through this now. Like Ed's guitar tone on Holy.
Yep.
That's the shit stack.
I would say Rich really shined tonally. Everything sounds great, but I would say Ed, besides drums is his own thing,
Yeah, he crushes drums.
But that's just a given. But I really think Ed's tones shine with a combination of him and Rich, like just making it sound really fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's where we might not have been able to get that the first time around. Because, it's a vulnerability thing, but it's also having a trust in each other and knowing where he sits in.
Yep.
And I just think it's Rich knowing what we were trying to get out of it, right?
Yeah.
Where you want everybody to have an opportunity to play on stuff, but it's also the way everybody comes in and out of certain things. Where just, just think of like Rob Sachs and Heartstop. Yeah. Where there's certain moments where we would normally say, you know what? No, that sounds like a steel part to me. Yeah. But Rich is like, no. This is where we bring in the saxophone.
Do this here.
And we would need somebody, not us, to decide that, because otherwise we would end up, Everybody's like, I want to go there, which is rightfully so.
Pretty good at
we
that,
have gotten
though.
much better than
good.
we used to be.
I gotta say, I'm proud of us for that.
Let's talk about the speed dating that happened in pre-production.
Okay.
So, typically, when we're going into a studio setting, we kind of never spent this much time beforehand, especially on site, figuring out what we were going to do. Yeah. And we had a bulk of songs chosen, but there's 7, 8, 9 songs where only 3 or 4 were going to get picked. Yeah. And then Rich basically said, we're going to take an hour per song. Yeah. I'm going to come back and then just, like Roman Emperor.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience from your perspective, because I love that idea. It takes the ego out. Everybody's on the same page. There's no time to cry or harp. There's no time to get invested in having somebody literally just come in and it's fine. And some of those songs are great songs. Let's not say
Absolutely.
They're not. They just not for this record.
Yeah.
And we'll get. I want to talk about that too after how like the cohesiveness of this record. But
I loved that.
The speed dating.
I really loved that. And honestly, I've taken that thought kind of into other realms of like just like when I'm writing with somebody. Mm-hmm. I'm like, let's just kind of speed date this song a little bit and see if it happens. Mm-hmm. And if it doesn't, quickly
don't get upset by it.
Move on to something else.
Yeah.
Because like that's where I think Rich, it's a really important thing. He understands energy.
Yeah. For sure.
If the energy is flowing, it's gonna flow. But if it's not, and you're just trying to force it, or you're just really just trying to just make something work, usually that's a sign that it's something is off fundamentally, and you need to just like set it aside and figure out what's going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And so he was just trying to find the things that had the
legs, felt strong it
legs,
yeah.
The things that were like, all right, this has got bones already, skeletons here. The band can just immediately gel, and that was that I loved it.
I loved it too. I think it's interesting where he had to leave for that hour, because if he was in there with an hour working on the song, he's in it too.
Yeah.
And he needs that ability to be outside and just say yes or no.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's trying to hurt anybody's feelings. Because
like,
if he's in there, then he's like, yeah,
then
he's heard the demo, or he's also in there and he's like, oh, well, I like this, but if we change this, there's no time. It's either we have enough to get here and take it to the next phase or not.
Exactly.
Now, I think this is probably the most cohesive record we've ever put out.
By far.
And what do you think allowed it to happen this time as opposed to some... You think it was the producer coming in and saying... Because I feel like we have the maturity now to say, basically, this idea is great, but it's not going to work for this one, or the way we are doing this song is not fitting into the cohesiveness of the record, and it needs to be kind of... The articulation needs to switch up on it.
Yeah, I think kind of early on or midway through it, I think we kind of realized that we had a chance to make something that was cohesive,
which is not really what we
never
do,
even
which
tried.
Is, yeah,
to do
we've
that.
never
we just never
actively
even cared.
Yeah,
basically.
we've never actively been
experience.
like, oh, we're gonna do a space western.
Exactly. It's just
before on the front end. Yeah,
it was always just let's let the song be the song, and that will. And that's the truth. And so like when it's like the albums before are I love all of them. They're just a little more collections of songs, which is kind of some of my favorite albums as well. Sure. Of the artists that I listen to. But like I said, we kind of realized that we were able to kind of do this, and so then that became like all right, let's do this.
Yeah,
let's
sure.
kind of choose the couple more that will fit this vibe. And then we have this, like kind of like statement, But now I'm like, okay, next record, not gonna sound anything like this.
You know what? We're not gonna say anything more, but I like 180s.
Yeah.
From artists. Yeah. I love when somebody, even if it doesn't come out great, they attempt something different instead of the tried and true. But. Yeah. I like when that new record has one of the tried and true.
Oh yeah.
It's like, okay, this worked on this last record, so this next record, it's in the same world, but then everything else is like, oh shit, I didn't know they had that in their bag.
Yeah. That's the thing, man. I think we have so many, we got a lot in our bag. Not to toot our own horn, but we could kind of really do anything. I feel like this band has more talent than know what to do with, and I think it's really just within us to just kind of choose our direction
adventure,
that feels inspiring,
it's an inspirational thing. It's being comfortable in our own skins and knowing that whatever we attempt is not, it's okay. You know what I mean?
It's okay if people don't even like it.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Yeah, I think there was so much worry about, you get to a certain level. And people talk about pressure and expectations and falling flat on your face. And after a certain point, it says, we've made it this fucking far. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're either going to be ride or dies. We're going to lose some fans. We're going to gain some fans. Just keep doing our fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, it's a blessing in itself to be able to do.
Truly.
So tell me about the recording aspect from you. This is our second time being at Guilford Sound outside Brattleboro in Vermont.
Yep.
And last album there was Winter.
Yeah.
And this was not Winter. And it's the two sides of Vermont, both awesome, but very different.
I mean, I loved both of them.
Same,
and I think it was really amazing. I loved being out there and be able to just kind of wake up in the morning and go outside and just look at this vast field and of just green Vermont, smell the Vermont air.
Yes.
But the tick situation was a little iffy.
We tick check.
Yeah.
Tick
situation was a little iffy.
So there's a house called the Earth House, which is a half mile away or so walk from the main studio, and you're literally going through just almost like a mountainous area of foliage.
Yeah.
Where it ticks. There's ticks everywhere.
Yeah.
It's land of the ticks. So tick check. You would come to and from the studio. And you'd have to check yourself because I think PJ had a couple. It wasn't just him.
Honestly,
Michael had a couple.
I never found one on me.
No, I my car, so I drove.
Yeah, everyone else found them all over.
Yeah.
So I think I might take winter over summer just because of
The tick situation.
I'm really not trying to get Lyme
I'm a-
disease.
I'm a sucker for the winter.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I like bundling up.
Exactly.
I like bundling up and then taking all that shit off.
Walking
And,
through that forest in the snow, like that was.
But
that was
it
special.
was nice to, in between songs or lunch, go outside and like get some sun.
Yeah, that was
which
nice.
I think
that
is
was really nice. Yeah,
is
I mean,
fantastic.
it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a toss up.
Well, I guess you just need to do a record where both exist
Let's
at the same time, right?
go.
I know Iceland. There's a spot in Iceland people
There
seem to be
is.
going to that they do
There
stuff like
is.
that. Yeah.
I would be into that.
Thoughts on going away and doing a destination for recording a record as opposed to like sleeping in your own bed?
I like destination. It helps me.
I agree. Sorry, wives and family, but destination seems to be for us. It's destination Sand City.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah, exactly.
'Cause
I
we-
want to be I want to be like out.
Out, yeah.
I don't want to have any kind of like distraction. I need to be able to like just because like
Live in it.
yeah, live in it, and also like I don't know. I have a bit of a theory, and this might be a little woo woo, but like whatever. Like there's just if there's too many people around, just too much, energy. Like I feel like I can't hear my own thoughts. I can't tap into
Going out to nice
self.
dinners after a day in the studio.
Get there. I'm
Yeah.
just like in it. I'm just
It doesn't feel as artistic to me.
yeah. It just
Feels like a job.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
sometimes you get to a certain point of like, oh, this is how it's done. This is what big time people do in big time cities.
Yeah.
It's not the way I envisioned it when I was younger.
Yeah.
Younger was always get away and go, but obviously life gets in the way, and sometimes it doesn't make sense to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think it's awesome to
It's awesome.
get to
Yeah,
go.
it's great.
It's
It's great. It's great.
yeah, just can't go away for too long.
Not too long. You
Yeah.
know? It's got to be because I mean that would honestly like being away for too long is also not.
Oh
good.
yeah,
So
that's detrimental as well. After a certain point,
yeah.
I think
2 weeks is kind of perfect.
Which after reading the Mike Campbell book, they got to a certain point where studios were just existing in their houses. And I think that is a blessing and a curse because
Yeah.
at a certain point, you get too comfortable after you've been killing it for so long. Then you put a record out and you're like, oh, that was a terrible idea.
What happened there?
We should have not just brought it in Yes Men and had it done.
Yeah.
We should have probably gotten out of the space and the comfortability of the
gotta read
creature.
that.
Like a organic, stripped down feel and almost a country, I don't want to use the word twang, but tendency in a few of the tracks. Was that intentional in terms of where you were writing? Was it because you're writing in Nashville? Or I know you would never, knowing you would never say, oh man, this is what's going on in the zeitgeist. I better hop on this gravy train.
I think really it's just I've always just written with an acoustic guitar, and we, as people will come to understand that this album has a lot of acoustic guitars on it, and we kind of just let, like a lot of times in the past, I think we would like hear the song or the song would be written on acoustic, and then we'd kind of like remove the acoustic element and or hide or slightly push it back in the mix and like let some other things kind of drive the song. Where I think with this album, we were like, all right, well let's just the acoustic is going to be
Flip
the
the
driver
script, yeah.
for the song, and that was just kind of like what happened. I think it's just. I mean, I do think Lost and Found has a bit more of like it's definitely more leaning into that like country
Just with the instrumentation and
world,
Yeah,
But then again, it's like kind of always been doing that, like
for sure.
Hurricane Winslow.
For sure.
Could probably even say maybe
Pretty Photo. You could,
Pretty Photo more.
But you could change
like up
the
in the
arrangement
air,
of Pretty Photo. Yeah, up in the air. All
I mean,
these,
even Soul Fight.
Yeah. So, if Rich came in and wanted to put the acoustic in the background and build these different worlds around these songs, would you have been okay with that?
I'm okay with anything that I'm like, all right, I think this pushed the song into a place that I'm into, and I think it's cool, and I think it's like, you know, a healthy thing for the song. If I feel like I'm not understanding the vehicle, like, cause like, I don't know, I guess the way I think about it is like everything around the song, it's like a vehicle for the message or the words or the melody.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that is, you know, if it feels like we're putting mustard on a, you know, spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, oil and vinegar.
It's like
Uh-huh.
that's where, you know, and sometimes there's a bit of like unlearning the, you know, like, you know, you got, you know, you get a little attached to the demo or whatever, you know. But it's like, I feel like we've gotten pretty good at understanding, like, all right, like, well, yeah, that's not working.
Yeah, tell people about demoitis. And how one can contract demoitis.
Yeah, so basically, you know, you'll be making a song, and you'll sing it, I don't know, 30 times, play it 30 times or whatever, maybe sometimes more, sometimes less. And you'll really get, and then, so that's just the writing process. And then, you know, then you're going to listen to it. You're going to, you know, you're going to check the car mix, you know, you're going to kind of like try to make it sound really good. Just the demo, you know, like that's kind of, I work on my, you know, my engineering, you know, rudimentary engineering skills.
It's wild to think this wasn't really available 20 years ago.
Exactly.
And now you can get to this point where you're really
I'm using
in the
like
demo.
Mastering plugins.
Yeah.
All this
Plugins.
stuff, you know, I mean, so many things. Yeah. You can really get stuff sounding really, really good these days. And but that's the thing. It's like you have to listen to it hundreds of times to like get it there.
Yes.
And so now you're locked in, you know.
You're excited.
You're locked in, you're excited, it sounds cool. And then you go to take it to the studio and everyone's excited about the demo, and then you start playing it in the studio and it's like, oh God.
Where the producer's like,
this ain't happening.
We have something here, but not this way.
Not this way. Exactly. So in that case, sometimes you know, bring some elements in from the demo, or you just say, all right, this is cool this way. Maybe this will come out someday and we're going to do it this way, you know? And on this album, a little bit of that happened, you know? I got the vocal on Heartstop. Demo vocal.
The whole thing.
Yep, whole thing.
Interesting.
Rich was like, he was like, before he like kind of heard just like this demo of it, he was like, no, man. He was like, you got to record that. And I was like, I don't know, man. I was like, I was in a pretty good zone that day. Like, we might want to take a second look at that. And then
now you think that's more your performance being nailed as opposed to the recording technique of it and all that.
It's all of that.
It all came together.
It really came together.
But to tell that to, you know, a guy who that's his bread and butter,
because
like, you know, all right, one out of 1,000 times you're gonna get him, and that was that. Because like you said, he recorded Chris Cornell.
Exactly,
come on, you know,
exactly.
And he would never have his ego be like, come on, dude, I recorded Chris Cornell. He's not that kind of guy.
He's not the kind of guy.
But at the same time, it's got to feel good to know that, like, you snuck one past him.
Yeah.
And it worked.
He signed off on it.
And that's what it is, because his name is on it, too.
Exactly.
And that's an awesome feeling to have somebody of that caliber say, you did one good.
Yeah. I mean, I also got to throw it out to Greg Majors. I recorded that vocal in Nashville.
Okay.
At his studio.
Shout out to Greg.
Attic recording. Crushed it, bro. Love you.
But still.
But yeah. So and then obviously there was some processing done to it after the fact.
It's an effort, and to get it to the point where a Grammy Award winning producer and mixer says, "This receives my blessing."
Yeah.
I'm sure his job. He wants his job to be that easy. Sometimes at the same point,
honestly,
right?
I was kind of like nervous. I was like, I'm never gonna beat this. Like, I'll try. I don't know if I can. I don't know. You know, it's like you try to like, because it's like. Also, I was like, that was like the day that we finished writing it, so it was like
it's one of those scenarios.
You know what I'm saying? I like had
weren't
all
slaving
this like
over
really
it.
Special energy you know, like cooked into that performance. So like what you hear is like my like true excitement for the song.
Before you demoitis it.
Before I've like
Yeah.
gone to hell and back on it.
Yeah,
you know?
and it's interesting. A lot of these people I've been having conversations. They say, "Oh, you're excited for the new record. Like, what's your favorite song to play and stuff like this?" Unbeknownst to them, like these songs are old to us now, and it's already on the next one, which is it's fine. That's part of the job.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of people don't. They just assume it's like these songs came out last week, and like
yeah, they're like
we're gonna
some of these are
rah
like 2,
rah
3
and
years
go
old.
get them.
I mean, that being said, it feels really amazing to play
Oh
these
yeah,
songs
absolutely.
live. Like,
Part of it is seeing the
it's so
fans
cool.
enjoy it.
Yeah. It's like I also just like I was a little like on the edge about like some of like Blood on the River, or like how that that vocal tone was kind of gonna be received live, or just like if I was gonna be able to like make it sound that close and intimate live.
Yeah.
And it's happening. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty stoked about that.
We're fortunate that we have the ability to do the justice the songs need live, but if it needs to breathe differently, we can do that.
Yep.
And our fans are usually really receptive. We've never gotten booed for a song. Not yet. Not yet. But you know what? It might be a damn good song that they're booing.
Who knows?
Yeah.
You know?
What are you excited about going forward, playing the record live for the fans? What do you...
I know
Tell me.
this answer.
Tell me.
Right off the rip. I'm excited. I love the song. One of my favorites from the record is World Is Not Enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a song that Andrew, our drummer, wrote. And it was first like this like ripping, just like rock tune.
Kind of
It was
Radiohead,
pretty sick.
Benz
We were
era-ish.
yeah, we were like
this
really
was
into
demoed
it.
a million times where we
Demoed a
thought
million
this
times.
is the way we got it, and we got it with the producer's blessing a certain way, and then we got to the studio.
And then like I don't even know how it happened, but like we just kind of like were just playing around with like I think I just like had a classical guitar like in my hand, and I don't even remember honestly how it happened, but it just turned into like, or you guys were just like playing the drum beat.
There was a change.
I don't even remember
beat where
like
I don't know if
don't
Rich
know
wasn't
exactly how it
happy, and that happens too with these producers where one day he's really feeling something.
Yeah.
And we've invested a lot of time and energy into it, and then he's just like, ain't cutting it anymore.
happening,
So
boys. Yeah.
this one's gonna die on the vine unless something dramatic changes, which
Yeah.
is like a rhythm feel.
Yeah.
Because before, basically there was no vibe similar to what was on the record as to
Yeah.
what the song became, and then you kind of build your own adventure
Yeah,
to
I mean,
it.
you and Andrew just locked in. I feel like on that beat,
I think
and
PJ was showing us like Sade,
yeah,
like live tracks from the 80s and building like a cyclical instead of more a groove as opposed to just a progression.
sick.
And then, shit stacks and all this other stuff came in.
Yeah, I
and-
mean, yeah. Michael really shines on that tune.
But
as
when the
well.
producer is excited about it, that
Yeah,
makes everybody else excited about
Yeah,
it.
I'm excited. That's one of my most favorite vocal tones as well that I've ever gotten on a song. I feel like my voice was just like kind of shredded at that point.
Yeah,
like
but in a good
way.
Yeah, I know when you feel you're in control of the
There's a lot
rasp.
of like texture there that is maybe not necessarily always there. And whatever mic, I mean, I had three mics in front of me at the time. I had a 67, a RE18 Electro Voice, and a Coles, and they were all it was an
Doing their own thing.
interesting like mix of them. I'm not sure how much we used of either one of them, but that was one of the I think that was one of the really cool, interesting things about how the vocal got captured on the album.
Interestingly enough, that's one of those songs when we're done recording it, I'm thinking like, how the hell are we going to do this live? But I think we've kind of found a healthy medium. It will change and grow over time, but a lot of times, so normally in records past, it was, we're going to wood shop these songs live. And sometimes that's great because you get a song you get plenty of songs that you tell a producer, hey, we know this works live. So we got to figure out a way to make this work in the studio.
Yep.
But the flip of that is the producer says, I really don't care what you do live. We're focusing on the studio
Yeah,
element,
this is the record.
which is a different art form in itself. And then
Yep.
sometimes you get caught in these scenarios where it's like, oh man, this is going to be really easy to do live. And then it isn't. The world is not enough. So far it's been the opposite, where it's like, oh man, this is not as difficult as we thought it was going to be. It's not an undertaking.
I feel like it's just like right there, and it's our bread and butter, man.
Yeah,
it's like
it's got a
that's what
vibe.
we do. I feel like it's
got a
just,
vibe.
You know, you and Andrew lock into this really interesting groove. Got that classical guitar just kind of floating in the
Peeking
background
in.
a little bit. Some counter melodies, lovely harmonies from Michael. Yeah,
It's good stuff.
it's a vibe, big time.
Um,
Oh, hold on. Rob on the flute. Can we talk about Rob
let's-
on the flute?
Let's start. Okay, let's start back from this. I don't. So, did he use a flute in pre-production in the studio in New Orleans? I'm trying to remember how the conversation
I feel
came
like
up,
I
or
feel
he
like
just brought
like,
it.
Brought the flute. The story that I'm telling myself in
Right
my
now,
head.
this is the story we're telling the people.
Yeah,
now.
this is the story you're gonna get. Is that he just showed up one day into the studio, and the first time I heard him play that thing was like on razor blades and runways.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair
You know,
enough.
like that's like the first time I'm like, oh wow, like
You just picked it up.
how did he? I didn't even know he played the flute.
Yeah.
Did you know he played the flute?
There were rumors and rummagings that he played it at one point, but from saying you playing at one point to actually having it make a record is like huge.
That's a.
But I will say, when we finally did get to the Earth House where we were staying, Rob was shedding that thing like
you
a
were like
pro.
you were in the dorm next.
Oh,
to him.
I was. Yeah, I
You were
could
in the
hear
basement
him.
next to
I could
him.
hear him, but like you could. It
It's like
wasn't
7 a.m. He's like
but no, like Rob was being a professional and getting his reps in to
Yeah.
where like now he's playing it live, and it sounds like he never stopped playing it.
It's crazy.
Which I think it's kind of good for him to know, like, oh man, if I have to do that, I can do that. And I don't think 5 years ago, if you said, hey Rob, you're gonna play flute, he would say no, and we'd say, I don't know if that's gonna work. But now, like, I think it steals the thunder.
I mean-
yeah, people love it. They're not expecting it. Yeah.
Every time he
It
bops
fits,
that
too.
thing
It's not
out-
forced. It's-
no,
yeah.
exactly. It's perfect. And he just like, I mean, the what's on Razor Blades and Runways, like the solo that you hear is that was like the scratch.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like the scratch. Like he's
Yeah.
like in the control room,
Yeah.
just recording that.
Yeah.
And it was like perfect.
Sounds great. Yeah. It sounds great.
It was like, this is not going anywhere. This is the
Got to get him on the cover of Flute magazine
I
if
mean,
that's an
let's
option.
go. Yes.
So, last but not least, Get It Honest is the record. What do you want fans to take from the songs? What are you proud about in how you want it to be received? Differently from what we've done in the past and what you've written in the past.
As I said before, I think songs can be, can come to you at times in your life when you need them, or when you're at a point where you can hear them. It's like I heard a song the other day by Jack Johnson, or last night, and I was a huge Jack Johnson fan when in my 20s. I mean, still am. I love him. He's incredible. But it was like I'd never heard that song the way I heard it.
Of course,
last
yeah.
night. And so I think songs have the ability to reach people when they're ready. And so I think this album's got a lot of heart on it, and it's a big piece of my heart. It's a big piece of your heart, and we just want it to connect to people in a way that's like meaningful and helpful.
Fantastic. New Revs record, Get It Honest, coming out. If you want to see more stuff like this, you should attend the Other Side of Paradise cruise happening.
Cowabunga, dude.